Well, yeah, add some mushrooms to put on this. Phantom Thread is the latest movie from Paul Thomas Anderson, and supposedly the last movie from Daniel Day-Lewis. The movie also stars Vicky Krieps and Leslie Manville, and it's a movie that has gotten crazy recognition from all sorts of different award ceremonies, including the Oscars, which this was nominated for a ton of different things. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can definitely see why. The movie follows Daniel Day-Lewis's character, who is in a relationship with a younger woman, and he is running this company that makes very high-end dresses. And the movie centers around this relationship and how work has kind of affected his personal life, and how this young woman is trying to get him out of this.
So right off the bat, I want to talk about the pacing of this movie. This movie is definitely a slower burn. It's very dialogue heavy and built around a lot of character development. Chris and I were both surprised at how we weren't bored for a single minute of this movie. Everything from the acting to the directing, the writing, it all just melds together and makes something that is truly interesting to watch for the entire runtime. And the whole movie feels expertly paced. There's not a single sequence where the pace slows down. It just all flows very nicely and is very entertaining to watch. Now, I gotta talk about the acting. Of course, Daniel Day-Lewis is incredible in this role. I feel like enough has been said about his performance. He's been nominated for Best Actor, and I feel like if he won it, that would be very well deserved. It was honestly kind of sad watching this movie to realize that this very well might be his last role if he does go into retirement like he said he is going to. But if it is, it's a definitely high note to end his career on. I really enjoyed seeing him become this very eccentric character that had a couple moments that almost made you hate him, but Lewis played it in a way that was just so incredible and engrossing. Also, Vicky Krieps, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, she does an incredible job as well. These two have just great on-screen chemistry, and there were a couple of moments as their relationship was forming where I caught myself just grinning in my seat. They just are so believable on screen together, and they do a really good job of selling this relationship. The performances are also supported by some very expertly written dialogue, and these characters are so well-rounded and interesting that it really carries the movie. I think that Daniel Day-Lewis and Vicky Krieps both had a lot of great material to work with, and they really bring the best out of it. One particular scene that was a standout for me was a confrontation that took place over a dinner table. The two performances in this scene were great, and it really just hooked me and kept my attention. This is a movie that is definitely not afraid to spend a lot of time developing these characters, and because of that, I almost felt like I knew them. I really enjoyed all of the character development on screen in this movie. Now, I also have to give a shout out to the score of this film. Jonny Greenwood has proven himself to be an excellent composer, and he really brings his A-game to this movie. The music is very present in this film. There are very few scenes that don't have soundtrack playing over them, and it worked very well to elevate the tension, to really set the mood of the scene, and I just loved the soundtrack of this movie. It also looks fantastic. Paul Thomas Anderson really likes shooting his movies on actual film instead of digital, and for this movie and a lot of his other movies, it works very well. This is a very beautiful film. I gotta be honest, Chris and I did not find a lot of bad things to mention about this movie. It is a very, very great film. However, there are a few minor things that Chris will mention.
So like Walter said, there really is not a whole lot to hate about this movie. But there are just a couple of minor nitpicks that are worth mentioning. I think first and foremost, there is a minor subplot involving Daniel Day-Lewis's character and his sister. I'm not going to go very in-depth on it, but it was mentioned so briefly and so quickly that I feel like even if they did take it out, the movie would have been the same. It really did not add very much to the movie at all. And then the real big complaint that I feel like a lot of people have had, that after talking about it with Walter, we really didn't think it was that big of an issue, and that is the ending. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a choice that was made at the end that is a little bit weird, kind of made us question it. But again, after we talked about it, it made a lot more sense. And as far as cons go, that was pretty much all we could come up with. I mean, like I said, this is a great movie, and the cons are really just nitpicks.
I'm a huge fan of Paul Thomas Anderson, and honestly, I have to say this movie is probably my favorite of his films. I really enjoyed myself, and I have to give it a 9 out of 10.
You know, I'm on the same page. I was very pleasantly surprised with it. Like Walter said, it was very slow, but I thought it was so well paced with the character development being so well done that I feel like a 9 out of 10 is definitely the way to go here. So guys, thank you so much for watching our video, and if you liked what we had to say, leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more. If you guys had different opinions, go ahead and leave a dislike and tell us what you thought in the comments. We'd love to hear your opinions. Thanks, guys.
Couldn't be more pumped.
Seriously.
Good boy.